Hey guys, welcome back to the Burnett Bunch channel. I'm here with Elijah today. Say hi, Elijah.
Hi.
So today is the day of the big game, the big football game, but we're not going to watch it. We're not NFL people really, so we're not really going to watch it, but we are going to celebrate it. So if you all out there in YouTube land do not know, this guy, the big guy, is what?
Good at making pretzels?
Good at making pretzels. He's not good at making pretzels. He is the king of pretzel making, okay? He loves to make pretzels. So for the big game today, we're going to make pretzels, and we thought we would walk you all through that. So we've already got all of our ingredients mise en place. And if you don't know, mise en place is a culinary term for everything in its place and a place for everything. So we're going to show you our mise en place, and Elijah is going to make pretzels with very little help from me. So here we go. Elijah, tell us what we have for our ingredients.
3 cups of warm water, 2 packets of yeast, salt, sugar, melted butter, and some flour.
Okay, so this is 6 cups of flour. However, we may not need it all, or we may need more. And like Elijah said, this is 3 cups of warm water, 2 packages of active yeast. This is 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 teaspoons of salt, and 3 tablespoons of sugar. And what's this, Elijah?
Mixing bowl.
Okay, our mixing bowl. All right. Okay, Elijah, what are we going to do first?
First, we're going to pour the yeast and the warm water into here.
Okay.
And then we're going to pour the salt.
Okay. I'm gonna be his sous chef.
Sugar.
Sugar.
And then the butter. And then slowly add some flour.
Okay, perfect. Now I'm gonna put you guys down. Make sure we're getting good shots here. Wait. So the key to pouring the butter, or the key to pouring the flour, is we do it a little bit at a time. So Elijah is gonna pour the flour in, and I'm gonna help stir. How much flour do we put in, Elijah?
A cup? Yeah, a cup.
Okay, that was 1 cup, but how much flour do you put in? Of the 6 cups, how much do you put in? Okay. And you want to make sure you have someone slowly adding while someone stirs. If not, that warm water and warm butter could basically cook your flour, and then you're going to have little dough balls. But I think Elijah's going fast enough, and I'm stirring fast enough that that's not going to be a problem.
I think it's 5 to 4.
Elijah's getting ahead of the preparation a little bit because he's spilling most of the flour on the table, but we're going to need the flour on the table after a while anyway.
Is that 5?
It looks like probably 4.
Okay. Oh yeah, because it's getting smaller. Yeah. That's probably 5.
Now, we measured all this out in mise en place beforehand. Keep going. However, sometimes it's just not enough. Sometimes the days like today where it's a cold, nasty, damp, rainy day outside, you may add a little bit more flour. Some days it's nice and sunny and you're gonna have to add less. It looks like we're gonna use most of the 6 cups that we measured out, which is fine. Maybe even add a little bit for Elijah's aim.
Do you think that's good?
I think you need to dump all of that on there. And then we're gonna make up the difference of what you keep spilling on the butcher block. So I'm gonna do that because it's probably just better. Now what you wanna do is you wanna get this to the pretzel dough. You wanna get it a little bit less tacky than that, a little bit more flour, but we're pretty close. I'd say Elijah dropped about 1/4 cup on the counter. So maybe that much there. We're gonna finish stirring. Get a stir shot here. Just a little bit more sticky in the middle. Now this recipe, we've been doing this recipe a little over a year now. Same recipe every time. And we found that you're gonna wanna let this dough rest for about 10 to 30 minutes. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna turn this dough out on the table. And like I said, Elijah was just getting a little bit ahead on preparation. You put a little bit of flour there. What we're gonna do is we're gonna flour the table, and we're also gonna flour our hands, which I think Elijah enjoys a little bit. And we're just gonna turn this dough out onto the table. Keep your bowl, because you're gonna need it again in just a few minutes, all right? So we're gonna try to get as much dough as we can. That dough is very warm. It's not too warm. I don't have any fear of cooking the dough, but I think it is a little warm. Now what we're gonna do
Roll it.
is absolutely right. We're gonna roll it.
Can I get this little thingy?
No, you don't need that right now. We're gonna fold it about 4 times. And once we get our fold, add a little bit more flour to the top. Now get your roller. And we're gonna you wanna get your rolling pin. Had a little bit more flour from a project that we had earlier. And I'm gonna get the mess out of the way. I'm gonna let Elijah roll out the dough. Now, Elijah, remember.
And don't press it too hard.
Don't press it too hard. Push and roll, push and roll. I'm gonna help clean up the mess off camera. Get the dishes done. April always likes when we get the dishes done without being told. So we're gonna do that. Oh, easy, easy. All right, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold it back up. So as you can see, it's not sticking to the counter, the table, that's good.
And pull this up. And pull this up here.
We quartered it again. And then we're gonna roll it back out one more time.
Okay. Do you think this is good, Dad? Or do you think I need to roll it?
Maybe a little bit right there on the top corner, closest to the camera.
I see it now. How about now? I think that's good.
Little hole right there. Okay, now. That's good. Now, as I said earlier, you're going to want to save your bowl. Scoot over a little bit. I'm going to take just a little bit of flour. There is some still dough in there. That's fine. But I'm going to take a little bit of flour. And I'm just going to put it on the base of my bowl. And what we're going to do is, as you can see, I was washing dishes. I have proof. I have suds on my hands. What we're going to do is we're going to take our dough and just do one more quarter fold. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tuck the edges under. Tuck the edges under, make a nice little ball. And as I said a few minutes ago in the video, we're gonna let this rest. So there's our dough, there's our dough ball. We're gonna let it, there's the towel right there already, the blue towel on top on the range. We're gonna cover this up and we're gonna let this set for 10 to 30 minutes. We want some nice airy pretzels today. So we're actually gonna let this sit for probably 30 minutes. But as you can see, we're in real time here. We're gonna cover that up and put it in a cool, dark place. As you can see, in real time, we're 8 minutes and 10 seconds. From the time we started to right now is 8 minutes to make your dough. So put that over in the corner. Just put it over there. So we're gonna put that in the corner. We're gonna clean up all of our mess. We're gonna clean up our table, because when we come back in a little bit, we're gonna start rolling pretzels. So we'll see you in about 30 minutes. Okay, welcome back. And through the power of a phone pause button, we've had about 30 minutes, and we'll look at our dough. And as you can see, our dough has risen pretty well. So we're just gonna punch that down, get rid of some of that gas. And then we're gonna set you all down. I'm gonna turn the dough out on a lightly, Elijah went a little bit crazy with the flour, on a lightly floured surface. And then what we're gonna do is, we are going to split the dough in half. Now Elijah can do whatever he wishes with this dough. However, this dough, the recipe that we did, should make 24 normal size pretzels. Now Elijah can go crazy. I'm gonna go a little different as well, but Elijah can do as he sees. Mine's a little bit more than Elijah, so I'm gonna give him a little bit of my dough as well. Put that aside.
Big one.
No. You gotta cut that. That's way too much.
That'll be huge though.
And it won't fit on the pan. So while Elijah starts to work on his dough, how many do you want to make, Elijah? Let's do this into the two. How many do you want to make total?
12.
12. All right. So we'll do into thirds, and then we'll do 1, 2, 3.
So how much can we make? 24?
Mm-hmm.
So if you do 12,
4,
we'll have 12.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right, so he's got two pretty good sized ones. To make. So I'm gonna let him start working on those. I'm just gonna set my dough aside for a second and take you all along with me. He's gonna start rolling his dough, and he's rolling it forward while pressing the edges out. He's actually really good at this. What we're gonna do is, in this pot, we have 6 cups of just regular water, and we're gonna get that boiling. All right. We'll revisit that in just a few minutes. We'll at the start of the show roll out his dough.
Pro.
Crew, hush, it's just a GoPro.
I kind of forgot.
Okay, all right. So it's been a little bit since we made some pretzels.
Got 4 of them.
So Elijah has forgotten to make pretzels. Prue, our fantastic puppy, is trying to protect us from the GoPro at the moment. So what you're going to do, Elijah, is you're going to take your knot and you're going to twist it one time. So you're going to make this twist. You're going to fold it over and punch the ends. And that makes your pretzel. So that's the first pretzel. We're going to leave that one there for you, Elijah, so you can do so you have it as an example. And I'm going to start working on my dough. Now for my dough, I kind of like pretzel bites. So I'm going to set a couple of mine aside so I can make pretzel bites. We'll show you that process as well. And then I'm going to do the same as I did with Elijah. I'm just going to cut mine up into a few blocks. A few little squares there. As you can tell, we have some work to do to get these pretzels rolled out. Then I'm going to save just one good size one for pretzel balls. for pretzel bites. Get my hands good. All right, one more time. You need about 20 to 22 inches.
Yes.
You're gonna take it,
Like
you're gonna
that.
twist it.
Oh, I forgot about the twist.
You forgot about the twist. And then fold it over.
We didn't used to do it like that. We used to do it something different.
I know, but it's prettier that way. Gotta be pretty. Our surface is lightly floured. And this is a butcher block table. It's actually a butcher block island in our kitchen that I made for April for Mother's Day one year. And I actually have a video coming out real soon. Since I put the stair video out, the remodeling of the steps. If you haven't watched that video, I'll link it below. But when we did the stair video, I've actually had a couple people reach out to me, actually quite a few people reach out to me via DM and say, wow, that's pretty creative. Are you a handyman? I'm not. I have a few suggestions for handyman. There's very good handymen here in our area. One being my really good friend Alex Sims with Sims Home Improvement and Remodeling. Not a sponsor. But Alex does a fantastic job. And then I saw just recently that my buddies, the Free Boys, have started a remodel business as well. So I am not a remodeler. I just do things because I'm pretty handy and I can save money by doing it myself. But those bigger jobs, those bigger tasks, I always call my good buddy Alex from Sims Home Repair and Remodeling. However, I do have a video coming out shortly showing some of the other projects I've made. Actually, I've made quite a bit of our furniture here in the house. And we're going to do a video, got a video coming out soon showing all that. So stay tuned for that. Okay, welcome back. It's been about 15 minutes or so. And as you can see, we have a few pretzels rolled out. As you can see, one of the things we do struggle with is consistency and product yield. We've got some teeny tiny and the logic is creative, and we got some that are as big as your face. But that's just how we do it here at the Burnett Bungalow. So I wanted to show you a process why we're working on that. And I've got two of mine rolled out in floury hands, obviously. But also I want to bring you over here. So we're boiling that water, which starts to be a rolling boil, and I'm going to add 4 ounces, or basically a half a package of baking soda to the water. And you see as it bubbles up, that's kind of what you wanted. Now baking soda and boiling water is what gives, and the reason I know that's about 4 ounces is because it's the only thing I used it for this pretzels last time. So baking soda and water is what gives pretzels that crunchy, salty, airy bite to them. So we always do this. So we're going to get that rolling. We're going to let it keep rolling, bull. Get that baking soda, and we're going to work on these pretzels. So I wanted to show you pretzel bites. So I've got a few rolled out here. And basically all I do is make them bite size. And this is just a bench scraper. It's actually what I used to clean the table earlier. It's $1 at any Dollar General or Dollar Tree or Walmart. It's usually at Walmart in the section with the grilling stuff. So that's it. You just cut them up into bite-sized pieces, and we'll do those the same way we do the pretzels. And then we'll cook those off and have some pretzel bites. So we're going to finish rolling these out. Looks like we have about 6 more to roll, and then we'll catch you back in just a few moments. Okay, welcome back. As you can see, our little baking soda bath is starting, and I've got this little strainer. I really enjoy the strainer, and I only use it for pretzels. So I'm just gonna put that in there, and then I have my little pretzel bites, and I'm gonna drop those down in there. And typically, I'll drop those down and fill the basket up. And I'll show you what this baking soda bath does. So as you can see, that's been about 4 or 5 seconds there that I've had it in there. And I'll kind of drop it down in there and make sure it gets a nice coating, a nice bath. And I'll pull it out and I'll drain it all off. And as you can see, they kind of plump up and they get this little bit of glisten to them. And I'm just going to put those right onto either a sheet pan with either oil. I oil and buttered it, or you can also use pan liners. But in true brunette fashion, we have no pan liners and no parchment paper, so I just buttered and oiled the pan really well. And we got a little bit of over spillage, and that's okay. You heard the oven just go off camera. I heated the oven up to 400 degrees, and that was just a preheat. So we're there. Now you're gonna get a little bit of the baking soda. It almost looks like a calcium deposit on your stove top. It wipes right up with a little bit of soap and water. So don't worry about that white calcification there. So that's all my pretzel bites. Now at this point, you're going to get them on a nice oiled sheet pan. Spread them out a little bit. And I know I'm going to do this off camera, but I'll show you in just a little bit. And this is actually where you're going to add your salt. So get them moved around a little bit while I'm overflowing. Just drop that down just a little bit in temperature. And I'm going to go ahead, put one of my little pretzel guys down in there. On the pretzels, you really want to do it one at a time. Just drop it right down in there. Again, this will all come out 3 to 5 seconds. Any longer than that, you're going to kind of get a metallic taste. So you don't want to leave your pretzels in there too long. You just want to drop your pretzels in the basket. You can drop them straight into the water. You can, if you have a spider strainer or a pasta strainer, you can always use something different. This is just the tool that I use. I actually bought this strainer for this purpose because Elijah likes to make pretzels so often. So, but that's it. 3 to 5 seconds. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna rock and roll with these. We're gonna rock and roll with these, and we're gonna be back, and we'll salt them and get them in the oven. Now you may have noticed I kind of took over a little bit of the video, not Elijah. And that's always a good idea. You're going to want to get a parent involved, but here Elijah's made some mini pretzels. Go ahead and drop it in. And he's going to show you with proper, I don't know about proper, but with adult supervision, it's okay for them to drop it in there, and you can kind of see some of that calcification. Again, it'll clean up. Now these little mini pretzels, they don't need very long at all. So, but Elijah does a great job. This has always been kind of his project, so we allow him to do it, and he knows the safety of the kitchen, so we're allowing him to do as much as he likes. But again, adult supervision is always a good idea. So we're just gonna grab a couple more. This is actually a pretty one. I bet that's Elijah's. Hey, these may not be Auntie Anne's or Hanover's of Maryland pretzels in the looks department, but I can promise you folks, they taste just as good, maybe even better. So I'm gonna get that one. That's a pretty one. And we got them on just a sheet tray. Elijah's gonna put this big monstrosity that he's got going in there. And we're just gonna drop that in there. Now, if Elijah got a little creative. Again, he likes to make them as big as your face, and if that's the case, that's fine. They may take a little bit longer in the water. So we're gonna knock these out. Got a few more handfuls. Gonna have to get more sheet pans going, and we'll catch you in just a minute.
Welcome back. I'm gonna be salting, which is my favorite part.
Now Elijah is using just coarse sea salt. We call it pretzel salt, but it's just a coarse grind sea salt. You can add as much or as little as you'd like. Elijah is very liberal with his salt. And, you know, if you're watching your sodium, you can always do low sodium salt. But honestly, even with Elijah's heavy hand, they're just not too salty. A lot of the saltiness will actually bake off in the oven. So I allow him to be, of course this is his project, but I allow him to be as liberal as he'd like with his salt. So he actually probably does a little bit more than I do, but it's okay. Now this big monster back here in the corner, it could probably use a whole ramekin of the sea salt, but let's not get crazy. Now we're gonna finish salting these. Elijah, that's too much. We're gonna finish salting these. We're gonna get them in the oven. 400 degrees, like I said earlier, 400 degrees for 15 to 16 minutes. We're gonna start at 15 and see where we're at. Again, atmospheric pressure and the weather outside really makes a difference. It's very damp, pretty cool out. So we may have to cook a little bit longer in the oven. So we'll be back in just a few moments. During that time, I'm actually gonna put them in the oven and clean up my mess so I can continue to have a happy marriage. All right, welcome back to the channel. And since we last left off, we've had some excitement and we've had to back up and punt a little bit, which, you know, sometimes in the kitchen you have to be a little creative and you have to do what you got to do to make it work. So apparently our heating element in our oven burned out, and looks like I'll be repairing that this week, which, hey, we're trying to start a YouTube channel, so content. I guess I'll be making a oven repair video. Luckily for us, Nanda, who is the boys' Nanda, my mother, Nanda actually bought us a very nice toaster oven for Christmas this season. It is the Crux GG. Crux makes the Ghetto Gastro, that's actually the name, the Ghetto Gastro toaster oven. And luckily for us, it has a bake function, so we backed up a little bit and now we're making pretzels in the toaster. But I'm gonna go ahead and start our cheese, our non-beer beer cheese. And typically I would make this with a roux, equal parts butter and flour. But I'm gonna make it a little bit different today. So we're gonna get the pot heated up and we're gonna go ahead and make a little bit of a non-beer beer cheese for today. Okay, we have a special guest. If you look right here in the right corner, Prue Baby is making sure that I do this beer cheese correctly, non-beer beer cheese. So in a medium sauce pot or a small sauce pot, I am bringing up 1 cup of whole milk. I like to use the whole fat milk. 1 cup of whole milk. I'm just gonna bring it up to just a scalding boil. And to that, I'm gonna add a half a package of cream cheese. And since it is the big game today, this is actually Philadelphia cream cheese. Not necessarily pulling for that team, it just happens to be the cheese that we're using. Cubed up cheddar cheese, it's just Velveeta right out of the package. Some Worcestershire sauce. And it doesn't really need it in the recipe. I just like saying it, and apparently so does everybody else on YouTube. So some Worcestershire sauce. And then Elijah likes it nice and spicy. So in here I've got a combination of crushed red pepper flakes, you can see, salt, pepper, and just a dash of cayenne. So that's the ingredients. My milk is starting to scald. So I'm gonna give a couple of little dashes of the Worcestershire sauce. I'm gonna turn my heat down as the milk rises. Not fast enough apparently. And I'm gonna add my cheese in. Add my cheese in, bring the heat back up. Just had to pull it off the heat just a little bit. Had a little overflow, over spillage, that's all right, that's gonna happen. I'll just get that cream cheese right in there as well. Now what you wanna do with this at this point is stir, stir, stir. Stir, stir, stir. If your heat comes up, turn your heat back down. I have no idea why the heating element burned out in the oven, probably because I'm constantly spilling stuff in it and on it. So we're gonna mix that up. We'll go ahead and add our seasonings in just a moment. As that starts to melt, we'll add the remainder of that cheese. We'll go ahead and add our seasoning in. Beautiful, that's gonna be nice and spicy. We're gonna add our cheese in as this melts down. We'll catch you back in just a minute with the finished product. All right, welcome back. We're almost there. Now, had I wanted to make a beer cheese, I would have made a roux, equal parts butter and flour, and I would have made that probably golden to a brown, darker brown roux, depending on what beer I was using. If I was using a porter or a dark ale, I would have made it a dark roux. However, if I was using like a Pilsner or a Hefeweizen, I would have used a lighter roux. And you know, that's just cook time. That's just cooking your roux down longer. The longer you let it cook, the darker it gets. But this is a simple beer cheese, you know, some milk. Again, the Worcestershire sauce and cubed Velveeta, and the spices where it can really be what you like. But we're close here, so I'm just gonna let this come to temp, thicken down just a little bit, and we'll be ready. We'll be ready for big game snacks, even though we're not watching the big game. We're gonna plate this up and let you all look at it.
So we got the pretzels we made and the cheese. And they're really good.
Really good. All right, so we're done. We got several pretzels here. Got our pretzel bites. Our non-beer cheese is ready to go, and we're gonna probably watch YouTube or something else that's not the big game, just because we're not gonna watch. And we'll see you on the next one. What do you say, Elijah? All right.